UFC 254 just wrapped up, y'all. Amazing night of fights, night/morning/evening. But I'm going to get right into it. We're not even going to do a lead-in. This is your boy JG, Exaggeration Experience. I want to break this card down real quick. The top 3 fights, tremendous. I want to talk about, obviously, the results. I want to talk about Twitter beef. I want to talk about overreactions. I did a video a couple days ago previewing or highlighting this card, breaking it down. So I want to start with the Alexander Volkov fight, Walt Harris. Volkov ended up getting the stoppage with a crucial front kick right to the meat part, right? When he kick you underneath your ribs touch right here, vicious. My man Walt Harris, I mean, these dudes are trained killers. Hella adrenaline. You've been training, you've been sparring, you've been working out, eating right. And anytime you get kicked or hit in any kind of way that makes you yell out, just, as a grown-ass man, that's a vicious shot. I alluded to this bout in my last video, like I mentioned, and one of the things I thought was going to be important for Walt Harris was to get to wrestling. At least attempt some takedowns and mix it up a little bit, because I felt like, despite his striking prowess, in my mind, Volkov was just going to be a little bit sharper, better in that aspect. And I called it a coin flip, but it was important for Harris to get to that wrestling. He was unable to do that. I think he attempted one takedown. He had a little bit of success, upstairs, and ultimately got finished. He looked great though, came in shape. They said he lost a bunch of weight. Alexander Volkov now puts himself in a position, for the next dude out there. He said a name that was interesting at the end of his interview in the cage. He said he went Ozenstrick. I wouldn't be saying his name. I know that he got finished real crazy by Francis Ngannou and stuff like that. That dude does not fight like Walt Harris and will come and knock you out. We saw what happened when you got folded up by Derek, the black beast, when he gave you work after you whooped his ass the whole fight. But I digress. I think it was a great fight up until the stoppage. It's hard to say what happens next for Walt Harris. That's 2 losses in a row against good competition, so there's no shame in that. But you want to start putting W's in that column. He's been unable to do that thus far since his layoff. And I do think that now that Volkov has got that victory, he has put himself in a position to compete against somebody in the top 6 or higher, and then put himself in a position to get a title shot if he can be successful there. So, great fight. I can't believe my man yelled out. If you guys didn't see it, Google it. He yelled out when he got kicked. And I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying he did yell out. Shout out to both those combatants. Moving on to the co-main event, Robert Whittaker, the Reaper, Jared Cannonier, I call him the Black Gorilla. He just, I was talking about how he looks like the type of cat. You see those cats in a park, and they they shredded, they swole up. He do hella dips in the park, and he just do dips, and he's just yoked, and just eats hella canned ravioli. And I don't know why the ravioli, but it seems like a meal that he would probably consume at an incredible rate. Nevertheless, my previous video, I had Cannonier winning the fight because I felt like he had the power punching and the general power striking, overall, that could give Whittaker problems, and it did. But he got his Lomachenko. He waited till the 3rd round to actually start throwing punches. He had so much success with the leg kicks early on. He said, I don't really need to throw punches. Robert Whittaker was smart. He did have his lead hand down because he just can't help himself. But he was brutal, accurate with the jab. He had tremendous movement. He kept setting up that it's like a 1-2, 1-2-9, or a 1-10, or whatever the hell it was. Eventually kicked my man Jared Cannonier right here, in the forehead meat. He did the stanky leg, go back and check. He said, oh, and then he did like a freak move, like that. He did a little freak move, and got caught slipping. Shockingly enough, gets taken down, gets pounded, gets mounted, defends, gets back to his feet, goes into the 3rd, after that initial transition between striking and grappling, lands a tough jab on Robert Whittaker, probably about 20 seconds left in the bout, and hurts him. Does his best to try to put on damage and get a late stoppage with Whittaker. Smart, made the adjustment, changed levels, attempted a takedown, really just smothered Cannonier at that point. There wasn't much time left on the clock, and he got the victory. Now, I said in my video, I don't want to see Whitaker Adesanya 2. That fight does not change my mind. Whitaker fought so smart, he's so good, and he's just in a position where he is the number one contender in that division. I think Adesanya just on another level. I think he goes in and tries to fight on the outside and be kind of smart, because the thing about Adesanya, he's so good and he's so patient and he's so technically proficient. Rob Whitaker can't fight the fight that he fought against Cannonier against Adesanya. He's gonna have to take risks and commit his weight forward and look for damage. When you do that, that's when Adesanya gonna hit you with something. He gonna hit you with something funny. Because Cannonier was not threatening at all with punches at all until the very end. It made it a very easy fight. It's easy to look good in a fight like that if you're Rob Whitaker against a guy who's not throwing any punches. Like some leg kicks that hurt, his leg got chewed up pretty good. But if you're a specialist like Robert Whitaker and you're fighting a guy who's not really going to throw a lot of punches at you, you get to look good like that. You get to land a jab over and over and over again and set up some stuff later on down the road because you're having a lot of success controlling the distance and range against a guy who has a 4-inch reach advantage. But that tells you, okay, Jared Cannonier is not going to throw punches. He has a strength and power advantage and reach advantage. I'll just jab him in the face because he's not throwing punches, so I'm good to go. Shout out to Rob Whitaker. I can't see anything other than a title shot next for him, because who else is in that division? The 185-pound division is looking away right now. Who else is out there? We just seen what happened to Paulo Costa. I don't want to hear anything about Yoel Romero. That division is looking light right now, but we'll see what happens. We 7 minutes in, 38 seconds. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Khabib, the Eagle, Nurmagomedov, defended his strap tonight against Justin Gaethje, the highlight. Now, I did a video. I said Khabib would get this done within 3 or 4 rounds. He got it done in 2. I mentioned at the start of this video, Twitter beef. Now, Justin Gaethje is a good fighter. I think he's a good fighter. When I say he's a good fighter, I mean he's the type of dude that you're not going to really want to fight. You're not going to be excited about that. When you see how tough the dude is, when you see what his bread and butter is, which is high guard, catching and deflecting, counter-punching the fuck out of people, that's not exciting. Like, you're not looking forward to getting battered, because even if you win that fight, Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, you get fucked up along the way. So that's not anything that's exciting. The leg kicks too. The leg kicks are vicious. I mean, he's just will to do with those. He's a good fighter. One of the things that really confused me, especially when the odds started to shift, the money started coming in on Justin Gaethje, and that confused me a little bit. And the analysis that I didn't put in my video, but I did put it on Twitter, check that out, that came to me a little bit after the video that I did was, I thought about Conor McGregor, a guy who's fought at 55 and fought at welterweight, 170. Conor McGregor is big for 55, and he's a good athlete. He does a lot of things well. So that's an athlete, an individual who perform multiple feats, athletic feats of movement, agility, whatever. He can do those things well. Go back to the fight that Khabib had with Conor McGregor. He did a fantastic job, McGregor did, of defending those takedowns, being limber, posturing and transitioning, and finding a way to get back to his feet until he couldn't. It was just over. He ran out of steam. That's Khabib's bag. He's going to outwork you. So I'm thinking about Justin Gaethje. We never saw him really grapple or wrestle at all in any of his bouts in the UFC. None. Zero. He got taken down once by Eddie Alvarez. He got right back up. Michael Johnson attempted a lazy-ass takedown after he got punched 57,000 times in the face. I think that's the gist of Justin Gaethje's either grappling period, wrestling, or takedown defense. So with that being said, it's interesting when you see the money move on a fighter, the money starts coming in and starts shifting the odds, and you see the conversations on Twitter, you get confused like, damn, is there something about Justin Gaethje that I'm missing to where we actually believe that this dude is just a wrestling savant because he just happened to wrestle in college? There's a lot of guys that happen to do a lot of things before they get to UFC. They're not good at them when they get there because this is mixed martial arts. This is not collegiate wrestling. And the wrestling that gets applied in MMA is not the wrestling that gets applied in a singular setting, such as collegiate wrestling, high school wrestling, or whatever the case may be. Khabib has demonstrated over and over again at a level that we've never seen before in that department that he's the best at that. And I asked the question, is Gaethje going to be better at striking than Khabib's going to be better at wrestling? And we got that answer tonight. The answer to the question was absolutely not. What shocked me a little bit is Justin Gaethje went the Dustin Poirier route. He was so concerned about getting taken down, he just didn't mount offense at all, period. He landed a couple shots, but for the most part, he said, oh my God, that's Khabib Nurmagomedov. Let me just make sure I don't get taken down, and got taken down throwing leg kicks. And that was the most interesting part because he landed some heavy kicks, but that was going to be the opportunity. That was going to be the end for Khabib to get to the legs, take him down and finish him. I was shocked about the fluidity of the takedowns as well as the transitions and the submission attempts. It shocked me. Yeah, Khabib's dope, but that was some crazy. That was crazy. True champion shit. True champion shit. Tremendous night of fights. Obviously, we know what happened at the end. If you guys didn't see the fight, if you didn't see the post-fight in the cage, Khabib said he's done. It's a wrap. He's walking away. He said that my mom don't want me doing this anymore. You know, shout out to his pops. I definitely feel his pain. 29-0, one of the greatest to ever do it. My only criticism of him is I think he only defended that strap 4 or 5 times. You guys got like GSP. I think he's got 9 or 10 title defenses. Silva got 9 or 10 title defenses. I think Demetrius Johnson has like 11 title defenses. And then obviously you have John Jones up there. That stuff counts when you rock that belt for so long. But undoubtedly, he's 29-0, undefeated, no losses. Everyone I named in that list got a loss. And Khabib's the man. So there's no sense in having a conversation about what happens next for him. Because we know what happens next. He walks away. And shout out to him. And rightfully so. The 155-pound division landscape looks a lot different. A lot of conversations have been had before the fight and now after the fight. My take on it is this. I know people still want Justin Gaethje to be the #1 contender, and I understand that, especially because he beat Tony Ferguson the way that he did. But he lost to Poirier, who just came off a victory against Dan Hooker. You know what? I think it's hard to still leave Justin. This is my point. It's hard to leave Justin Gaethje in the position of a #1 contender when he got fucking annihilated. That fight wasn't even competitive. So that's why for me, for the casual fans or cats who ain't really checking for Khabib or just love a dude who just will get in there and get punched up, you's really checking for Justin Gaethje to beat Khabib? Nah, no, you don't know. You don't know. Now, I can say Khabib was reckless. He was walking him down like, yo, dude, you can't do shit to me. That I was nervous about that. You're gonna get socked up because we seen Gaethje sock some cats up, but I digress. So what's going to be next for the 155-pound division? Based on what I already heard or what I listened to and what I read, it sounded like Gaethje, whatever happens, Gaethje's going to be a participant in a title fight. It doesn't sound like Michael Chandler's going to get that shot. Shout out to him for coming in and being in shape and doing his thing. I think that's dope. You have the potential fight with Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson's waiting in the wings. Those are, what I would do? I would put the title up and do a 4-man tournament. That's what I would do. And I don't know how the splits look like. Here's what I would do. I would do a 2-3-1-4 obviously matchup. So 4, in my opinion, would be Michael Chandler. He's a new guy. He's a beast. He comes in. He has wins over cats that used to rock the belt in the UFC. So I'd have Justin Gaethje fight Michael Chandler. You have 5 cats though, because you got to think about where's Tony Ferguson been. I still do a 4-man tournament. Anyway, I'm thinking this shit. I'm not even saying any words, but I digress. It's wide open. Shout out to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Shout out to his run. I wish I had my Khabib. I got a Khabib cup. This is Khabib. Shout out to him. Shout out to his run. Shout out to his pops. That's the way to show improve. Be consistent over time. I was saying earlier, he's Andre Ward. He's Floyd Mayweather. It's like, we just pick any next guy to just be it and come in and win, and all they do is just show us why we're wrong. I didn't get in that boat. I did not go that route. But this is your boy JG, Exaggeration Experience. UFC 254 has just wrapped up an amazing night of fights with a shit ton of implications, which I think is always good for the sport. Shout out to my man Khabib Nurmagomedov. You a real one. Shout out to Justin Gaethje, very classy. Showed up, did the best job he could do. Looked absolutely like trash. Don't worry, you won't have to fight him again. But you did your thing to put yourself in this position. We will see what the future holds. Like, comment, subscribe, bell icon for notification. Once again, JG, Exaggeration and Experience, UFC 254 Abu Dhabi in the books. Shout out to my man Khabib. Yeah.